So Patrick, what did you think of First Blood?
Well, the ending is great. You know, it has kind of this movie has like the appearance of action schlock, and maybe that's what Rambo 2 and 3 are, but like you look at the poster or the DVD cover or whatever, and it's Sylvester Stallone holding a giant gun with ammo wrapped around him, and it's like, okay, this is going to be a dumb, fun movie, and it's really not a dumb movie. It goes for emotions that other action movies just don't go for, and I think it pulls those off fairly well. It's an interesting look at PTSD amidst a soldier returning from a war, particularly a war as controversial as Vietnam. I like it. Yeah. I think the action is, in many ways, the weakest part of the movie. I think if you count up all of the bullets fired, probably 95% of them are fired not at a person. You know, they're fired at buildings. They're fired at gunpowder trails. They're fired at like electrical boxes, and it's just like I don't know. The action could be better, but you know, the movie's good.
I think the best bit of action is when Rambo's attacking the police in the woods. That's probably my favorite
I'm a
scene.
big dirt bike chase.
Oh yes,
scene.
That's great.
I like that a lot. Even though that's kind of almost before the movie starts. It's before Rambo becomes Rambo. He becomes Rambo once he's in the woods and he's killing people with Home Alone, or not killing, but he's
severely
attacking people with Home Alone traps. Like that is Rambo. But I like the dirt bike chase a lot.
This really is a movie about how a veteran is dealing with PTSD in the world after he's been let go from the army. And that's really interesting to take on an action movie, and I don't think we get that enough. And you're right, the action is probably the weakest part, but all the stuff in the woods is interesting enough. It gets, like, it dips. I think after the whole National Guard thing, after they blow up the mine entrance, it dips until it gets back into Hope, and that's kind of neat. All in all, good movie.
There's like 5 minutes between the blowing up the mine and him getting back to Hope. Yeah. You're not exactly. That's
felt like 20 minutes though.
If that's what you're talking about. Like he gets the truck and like almost immediately ends up there. He like throws a guy out of it at one point.
When I was watching this the second time, as soon as all those National Guard guys got kicked off their Iwo Jima mound by the sheriff, I skipped through that up until when he lights the gas station on fire in Hope. And it was like 10 minutes. That for me is the only part that really dragged.
I also really appreciate the depiction of the sheriff by Brian Dennehy. I think it's for the person who's just your asshole sheriff antagonist. Dennehy gives him some layers. He's able to do more with the character than I think a lot of other actors would be able to. Mm-hmm. I like how he starts out like he's a jackass, but it's not, I mean, I don't want to say it's not that big of a deal, but he's not ready to kill the guy or anything. Even when he's escaped into the woods, he still wants to take him alive, and he's upset when Galt is shooting at him. But then as the movie goes on, he gets like more and more pissed off. He's pissed off, at how Rambo's embarrassed and harmed his own men and killed the dogs. Mm-hmm. And also the guy that the dog handler might die. We don't know. I have a feeling he's probably going to die because they like leave him there and it's like, oh, we'll come back for you. And like, okay, he's probably gone. But then, and also just the frustrations of him dealing with, especially the colonel, who's constantly telling him like, you don't understand him, you don't know what you're talking about. Like the sheriff's getting pissed off about all of that. So I think it makes sense that he gets more and more aggressive as the movie goes on.
I mean, I'm not going to say I would have liked to rewrite a bit of it because I have no clue what I would add. But I kind of wish there was like one last like conversation or something between Rambo and the sheriff as he's like walking out of the police station. But
more resolution between that conflict, maybe.
Yeah, because the sheriff just says, "Shoot me," after he falls to the ground, and then Troutman gets Rambo to back off, and then he walks out as the sheriff is being put in an ambulance. But yeah, I really liked him.
Yeah, so we're in agreement here. Good movie. Probably not quite a great movie. I liked it a good deal. It's no Audition. It's no it's few movies are. It's no From Russia with Love. No. But it's good.
No, but I will say if you want to see a great schlock Rambo movie, it's the one from 2008. That's the one you got to go
What
for.
I've heard is the most violent movie ever made. I had a teacher he was like a substitute teacher. Eventually he was a permanent teacher at my high school. And the one particular day he was like subbing for somebody, and he had just recently seen Rambo 2008, and 35 minutes of the 45-minute lecture was on how awesome Rambo was and how people exploded and stuff like that. Like that was a fun day of class.
But don't watch Last Blood. That's the one you should avoid at all costs.
Well, it's on our list.
Watch First Blood 2008 and get rid of Last Blood.
What about the 2 sequels in the 80s?
I was telling you before we started recording, I was tricked into thinking I really liked the first Rambo when I was a kid because I saw the second one. I was like, this is great. And my dad was like, oh, you love the first one. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It's just this guy running around the woods for an hour.
As someone who hasn't seen the Rambo sequels but knows like a little bit about them, it almost seems like Rambo 2/Rambo 3 to Rambo is like Rocky 3, Rocky 4 to Rocky. You know what I mean? They're movies that like exist in different universes. Like Rocky 3 is an action movie. Rocky 4 is this action propaganda movie. And then Rocky's just this like boring, emotional, really, 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 really good sports drama. So
is Rocky 4 the one with
that's
James
what we've got
Brown
here.
in
We've
it?
got this... Oh, Rocky 4's got James Brown. And then... but that's kind of what we have here. I mean, not James Brown, but the First Blood is like... It's kind of boring. It's not the most exciting, but it's compelling in its drama. Even though it's got a very simple plot, it's got stuff going on with its characters and emotionally going on.
Yeah, I agree.